was born at 12 January. Victoria Jubilee Hospital is where my mother shook me out from the labor ward. And I want to say, I ate for my birth paper and you can produce anytime. So no boy when I'm a Jamaican birth paper can't bad me up and tell myself.
Me no take intimidation down. For me tell little boy me no fear man. And me do not live up on this station. My dance on my roll out the beside get nothing true. Family me roll
Big boss, Andrew, parents Savannah. Yeah, man. Bad boss, Andrew, let's there. Andrew just arrived.
So I make a special point of bigging up the people on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, where we are streaming live, and in particular the people on YouTube. And I have to do that because this has become now a standard community which we have to speak to. When I speak to audiences, such as an audience like this, you can have a sense as to what is the mood and what the audience already believes. But in the broadcast world, whether it is in your home, in your couch on television, or you are wherever watching TikTok live or watching some video or some reel or something, it's very difficult to gauge what the prevailing view is. And sometimes false information can be brought to you. And for many Jamaicans, seeing is believing. And you don't get a chance to say, but how this really go? Because you believe what is placed in front of you. And you're in your quiet space. There is nobody beside you who may pinch you and say, foolishness, not no so. Here is the truth. And you form an impression. The challenge is that it's one thing for a random video or reel to get to you on your phone and you look at it and you believe it or not. But the way in which the information world works now is depending on your pre-existing bias. You may say, you know what, I believe this. But you go one step further, you click I like it. And you go one step further, you share it. There is something that is operating in your phone that you don't even know. It's called an algorithm. And when you express a view, positive or negative, to the content that you have just consumed, what that algorithm does is say, I know what you know like, so I'm going to keep sending the things that you like. And so what it does to society as a whole, it removes editorial control, which can be good, can be bad, but it keeps balance in the society if the editorialization is proper. It removes that, and what can happen is that persons who are not quite able to filter information or don't have broad knowledge to distinguish what is fact and what is fiction will end up getting caught in either a loop of fiction and end up with all kinds of perverse views of the society, believing lies and half-truths. Or you could have a really good edifying experience where you're constantly fed factual information. But what happens is more the latter than the former. And a lot of people get caught in extreme positions, believing fake news and developing perverse views. And many societies, not just Jamaica, wrestle with this. You will see this presentation that I'm making now being made by all kinds of other countries who are concerned about how their society is being shaped by algorithms, shaped by a calculation that has nothing to do with the actual situation of the country and something that is open to be manipulated. It is a great danger for us, and in particular in the time of an election where the competition for your mind is even more intense, that someone could spin a lie and of course I must acknowledge China Harbour that has been with us now more than 15 years almost as a construction partner, very much entrenched in the Jamaican construction landscape, taking on massive projects. And since I'm on the subject of massive construction projects, it is important that Jamaica develops its own capabilities in this regard, and China Harbour is very much aware of this, and increasingly they are using training and facilitating the development of local talent. And on this project we look forward to that. In the Montego Bay Bypass project, when I toured it last, I was very pleased to see a significant number, in fact I would say more than 90% of the workforce being Jamaican, from the steelman to the engineer. I think that was a very good sign. So allow me also to acknowledge other stakeholders from the community, our police, members of the church, and other members of civil society who are here. Now, today marks the breaking of barriers that have long held back the full economic potential of this beautiful parish and people. And it represents the dawning of a new era of mobility, opportunity, and resilience for Portland. from the It represents an investment in Portland's growth, in tourism potential, in its ability to attract capital, create jobs, and build wealth for its citizens. Pay attention to those words. There are some people who love the poor and want to keep them poor. We love the poor too, but we hate poverty, and we want the poor to become to cut all the dimensions of poverty. And I know when you hear the word wealth, you immediately think money. Money is one dimension of wealth. Health is a dimension of wealth. You could have all the money in the world. You will spend it when you find out you're not healthy. You will give it away to get your health. So when we say we want our Jamaicans to be wealthy, what we are really saying is we want them to be. So never confuse when we talk about prosperity that all we are talking about is money. No. We want the entire human being to develop and to be able to fulfill themselves and to ultimately pursue their happiness. How does a highway do that? I mentioned one, mobility. But you also want to be safe. Not just safe from criminals and crime, but you also want to be safe from the impacts of climate and weather. Portland is a town, Portland is a parish, Port Antonio, the main town, that is on the seaside. It's a coastal, low-lying area, and it is oftentimes impacted by weather events. How many weather events have impacted your wealth? Destroyed your home, destroyed the road. Quite a bit. And so what we are doing now is to move your road inland, protecting your mobility, protecting your other assets, land and businesses, and that will ensure resilience. That should there be a weather event that hits Portland, a part of your wealth and prosperity will be preserved. Yes. So this project is not just about to help to moderate how they are going to view. We have to bring them into the conversation and to empower you to be candles of information and lights of knowledge in your community and in your various spaces. So that's just a preliminary preface to my presentation. So having said that, I know that the Honorable Robert Nestor Morgan, the Honorable Darrell Vaz, and Mrs. Vaz, they are under instructions that whatever they say to the public must be factual. They are under instructions that whatever they say to the public must be positive. You will not hear from the platform of the government anything that is negative, anything that is fake, anything that is not of the highest integrity of information. So we are committed to being the voice of positivity. We are committed to be constructive in whatever we say. We are not going to rely on negativity, of tearing down people and focusing on the gutter. We are going to raise your heads, raise your minds, and we are looking upward. Let me also acknowledge our permanent secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and the head of the National Works Agency, Mr.